The town went completely dark at 11:47 p.m. Every street, every home swallowed in silence except one glowing window. Thomas Reed stared at it, heart pounding, knowing something was awake inside. This night would change everything. The town was asleep, a fragile silence covering every street, every home. Streetlights flickered once, then went dark, plunging the neighborhood into an unnatural black. One window, far at the end of Maple Street, still glowed with a pale, unwavering light. Inside, Thomas Reed stared at the clock as the minute hand aligned with 11:47 p.m. Something inside him tightened. He felt the weight of the night pressing through the walls, listening to shadows breathe. The hum of electricity vanished. Homes, offices, and street lamps all drowned in darkness. Phones dimmed and died. Thomas walked cautiously, feeling the air shift around him. Each step echoed through the empty hallway, carried by silence so dense it seemed tangible. Outside, the neighborhood slept unaware of the anomaly spreading like a shadowy tide. The light in the distant window pulsed faintly, almost calling him. Thomas moved closer to the glowing window at the end of the street. The faint light revealed a solitary figure moving inside, slow, deliberate. No other houses showed any sign of life. The figure seemed aware of him, glancing briefly toward the street. Thomas froze, heart racing, realizing the town was no longer his own. Something or someone was awake. A faint whisper floated on the wind. Not human, not mechanical. It was a sound that carried intention, like voices trapped between walls. Thomas listened, trying to discern meaning, but the murmur dissolved whenever he focused. The lone window's glow seemed to vibrate in response, flickering softly, hinting at movement within. Shadows stretched unnaturally across streets and walls, bending angles that should not bend. A cat hissed somewhere in the darkness, and then all sound ceased. Thomas's own shadow moved independent of his body, stretching toward the glowing window. Every instinct screamed to run, but he stayed. Curiosity and dread locked him in place. The front door of the glowing house creaked open slowly, though no hand touched it. Thomas stepped closer, the wooden floor groaning under his weight. Shadows spilled across the walls, forming shapes that seemed almost human, almost alive. He swallowed hard, feeling the pulse of the night thrum through the floorboards, each creak a heartbeat in the darkness. A sudden ringing cut through the silence, startling him. The tone was familiar, yet distorted, echoing as if from a deep void. Thomas fumbled to answer, his hands trembling. The line was silent at first, then a voice, unplaceable, whispered a warning. "Do not leave the light." The word sent a shiver down his spine. Outside, the darkness seemed to pulse, listening. Through the window, Thomas saw the figure shift again. This time, it moved closer to the glass, and for a brief moment their face was illuminated, a mask of unidentifiable features, pale and motionless. A gust of wind rattled the window, yet no doors or leaves stirred. The figure's gaze followed him, penetrating, knowing. Thomas turned suddenly. Nothing. Only shadows stretching unnaturally across walls. But he sensed a presence, subtle but undeniable. The hairs on his neck stood on end. He walked forward, careful with each step, feeling the weight of unseen eyes tracking his every movement. Inside the glowing window, lights flickered faintly, casting long, jagged shadows across the floor. Objects shifted subtly, like tiny breaths in the room. Thomas watched, transfixed, noting the faint hum of electricity returning, yet the town outside remained dark, frozen in time. A wind whistled through the broken streets outside, carrying faint, melodic tones that shouldn't exist. Thomas clutched his coat tighter, the sound both alluring and terrifying. The glow inside the house pulsed in response, synchronized with the mysterious melody, as if the house itself was alive and listening. Thomas approached the window closer, peering in. His reflection overlapped with the shadowy figure inside. For a split second, the two faces merged, and Thomas saw not only himself, but multiple versions of himself, each frozen in fear, curiosity, and decision. The room seemed larger than it should be, stretching into impossible corners. The clock inside the glowing house ticked loudly, breaking the silence. Each tick reverberated through Thomas's chest. Time felt distorted, minutes stretched, seconds shattered. He realized the world outside might be frozen, but inside this house, time moved differently, governed by the unseen occupant. Soft footsteps echoed behind him. Not human, not natural. Thomas spun but saw nothing. The echo lingered, growing closer then retreating. His own heartbeat roared in his ears. He could feel the pressure of something immense lurking just beyond vision, patient, waiting, curious. A voice whispered from nowhere, soft and melodic. "Stay in the light or you'll vanish." It was neither male nor female. It carried authority, warning, and almost a gentle sorrow. The glow in the window brightened subtly as if acknowledging the voice. Thomas's legs felt rooted, unable to step away, trapped by both fear and fascination. Inside the glowing house, stairs creaked as if someone or something was moving above. Thomas strained to hear details. A shuffle, a whisper, a pause. Every sound was amplified, magnified in the suffocating darkness surrounding him. He knew the presence was near, yet unseen. A glass shattered in the house. Thomas jumped. He hadn't seen anyone enter. The echo rolled across the neighborhood, swallowed quickly by the darkness. The figure in the window stood still, watching. He realized the house was alive in ways he could not comprehend, reacting to every movement, every thought. The glow pulsed rhythmically now, synchronized with Thomas's racing heartbeat. Every flicker of light revealed fleeting shapes, objects moving on their own, shadows bending unnaturally, and glimpses of faceless forms. He felt drawn in, trapped in a surreal, cinematic nightmare. A hand reached toward the window from inside the glowing house. Thomas froze, unable to look away. It hovered, trembling, almost human, yet distorted. The light around it bent strangely, casting long, jagged shadows across the street, a visual rhythm that made him dizzy with anticipation and dread. Thomas knew he had to act. Step closer or retreat, embrace the unknown or flee. Every instinct screamed to run, but curiosity anchored him. He inhaled deeply, feeling the pulse of the house, the rhythm of the night, and the weight of unseen watchers pressing in. The choice would define everything that followed.